Some of my content has mention of extreme violence, sexual assault, and/or other triggering content. Discretion is advised. A loving mother of 4 goes to dinner with her fiancé, as couples do, but by the next morning, she is dead. What really happened to Grace Holland? I ran across this case on a Facebook group, and reading it made me sick to my stomach. I felt so badly for this family and for Grace and what she went through, and I just felt compelled to tell her story. So this is the story of Grace Holland. Grace was breathtakingly gorgeous and a great person. She lived her life by the quote, "Carpe diem," or "seize the day." Her daughter said that she was an inspiration to everyone, mostly to me and my 3 siblings. So what happened? Well, Grace met a man. He is a local fireman and an interim fire chief. The couple separately was amazing for the community, but together they did a lot of stuff for the community and participated in a lot of things with local police and firemen. They were very known in their community of Creve, Missouri, which is close to St. Louis. This couple from the outside looked like they had everything. A loving family, and everything was great. But inside this relationship, things were horrible. He was very, very controlling. He controlled how much money she spent, who she hung out with. He controlled every aspect of Grace's life. He was isolating her, which this is one of the pillars of domestic violence, is isolation. You don't have anybody to reach out for help for, and you can hide in secrecy all the things that are happening. Things were getting bad for Grace. Grace had bruises and even secretly videotaped some emotional abuse that she was suffering. So let's get into the incident. This incident happened around 5:10 a.m. on July 22nd, 2020. Grace's fiancé called 911 and identified himself as the fire captain. He told the dispatch that Grace had shot herself in front of him. Grace was shot through the left frontal lobe at a downward angle. Grace was right-handed. Despite the fact that he was a first responder and had medical training, he didn't aid to Grace at all. Now, I get shock. I am sure everyone who had saw an incident happen like this would be in shock. That's normal. But after that, you go into action. You try to save your loved one. You try to save someone. After the incident, he lawyered up fast. He cut all ties with the family and sold their house and moved on very quickly. He didn't even help make funeral plans. This is where the case gets super frustrating. There was no investigation. None. It was apparently ruled a suicide and everyone moved on with their lives. Creve Coeur detectives took almost 2 hours to arrive to the scene. They failed to correctly identify the entry and exit wound for the gunshot. They misinformed the medical examiner's office that he was standing next to her when the gunshot happened. They failed to bag any evidence, such as bagging her hands, testing either of their hands for residue, and collecting his clothing. They failed to address the bruises shown in her autopsy photos, and there were many. They failed to even question her fiancé, and here we are 14 months later and nothing has been done. This case is frustrating because there's so much misplaced and information that was handled wrong that it's hard to prove this death either way. It's hard to prove it's a suicide, and it's hard to prove it's a homicide. They only did a partial autopsy, so we really don't even know what her body was telling us. I will say this time and time again, not only in this case, but in every case. Police, investigators, anyone who's arriving to that scene should handle it as if this was going to be the biggest crime scene of their career. Because then this happens, people question you, and you have no evidence. If you handled every scene as if this is going to be your biggest case, as if there is going to be questions, we wouldn't be questioning it a year later. If you believe it is 100% certain that it is suicide, prove it to us. Give us that evidence. But what do I know? I'm just a girl in a box on YouTube. So what we're left with is an abusive fiance, a botched investigation, and a family that is left with no answers. Great. So there's a lot in this case. This family has been putting in so much work to be able to get this case reopened and handled the way that it should be. There is a lot of audio evidence, and some of it is detectives talking to the fiance, and it revealed a lot. There's one where this detective is talking to the fiance about a convenient time where he could come down to the police station and go through his phone. And he is calmly talking to this suspect, which is not named a suspect, about a convenient time and what they're going to need in this case to prove it's a suicide. So they want him to bring his phone down so they can take pictures, with giving him a heads up days or hours in advance to prove it's a suicide. This conversation is more of a conversation between two buddies than someone who should be a person of interest in this case. He was the only person there other than Grace, and Grace can't talk. So this person needs to be a person of interest and at least answer some of our questions. But on this call, this detective identifies the family and says that they are a difficult family to deal with. Yeah. I want shirts made that say difficult family on them for every family of every victim. Because yeah, they're going to fight for their loved ones. What if this was your child or your sister and things went awry in her case? There is really something to say about the phrase, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. The more you talk about something, the more it's going to be out there and the more is going to get done about it. So yeah, be a difficult family. There was also a quote by one of the investigators that says that wanting out of a marriage is not motivation to kill. But yes, it happens. Like a lot. I mean, Chris Watts, Scott Peterson, O.J. Simpson. I could go on. But even more than that, I think that a huge motive in this case is reputation. I think that Grace was a fighter. I don't think she was going to take this abuse. I think she was going to report it. I think she was going to do everything she could to make this man get justice and also to help him. She was really trying to help him. And I think he was scared to lose his reputation of this upstanding, great community citizen. He had said in his own words that he was 1 foot out of the relationship. So yeah, it's a motive. I think he was scared that he was going to be basically outed as an abuser. He was also having multiple affairs, and I think that it's a big motive to want to protect your reputation. Could this be a suicide? Yes. I've seen some strange suicides. But I personally believe that the evidence is strong enough to say that we don't know, and it could be murder. However, prove it to me. Prove it to me. Give me the evidence. Give me the evidence that this was a suicide. Just investigate and see. This loving 35-year-old mother should still be alive and be with her family. It's just so heartbreaking. I just wanted to say that, Grace, you should see how many people are fighting for you, who are standing up to just get justice for your case. There is a whole community now that is backing you, and we got you, and we're doing everything that we can. And you raised amazing children, and your legacy will live on in them. And to the family, always be a difficult family. Always stand up for what you believe in. Always stand up for justice, because Grace did. I believe she fought till the very, very end, and that's what we have to do. I will leave links below to the Facebook page, to the YouTube channel that Grace's sister started. Please go and check that stuff out. There is so much more that I couldn't even mention in this video that is very compelling evidence. And as always, I will be bringing you another case later. Instead of saying goodbye today, I'm gonna say carpe diem. Hey guys, thank you for watching. If you liked this video or any of my other content, please click the subscribe button and the bell and the like button to help me with my content and my channel as it grows. Also follow me on social media platforms. Right now, my biggest form of communication outside of YouTube is TikTok, so please add me on there. I make some funny true crime content on there. So thank you guys for watching. Love you.